o'clock, 8 o'clock, depending on where you at. You know what I'm saying? It might even be, 10 o'clock where you at. Maybe 11 o'clock. You live though.
What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Come in the room. Come in the room. Come in the room.
Go on, tap in. Tap in, man. It's been. I feel like the world always gives it where we got something to talk about because that's the way the world's set up, huh?
I mean, if you think hard enough and if you sit hard enough with yourself, there's always something you could be done tapped into that you heard about that you should be thinking about.
Always, man. Because we know today's topics. We got Mother's Day coming up. Shout out to all the mothers.
Yeah.
You feel me? We also apparently have a conversation, negotiation, statements being made about whether America is racist or not. And I feel like in 2021, I think that you got to be living in big ass denial if that's still a part of your conversation. We're going to jump into it, though. We're definitely going to explore the recent dialogue concerning about whether or not America is racist. And Toy, what's the other topic we got?
Move.
We
got to talk about move. If you don't know about move, you need to figure out about move. So we're going to talk about move.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna just I'm just gonna give a few more people time. We can tap in. I'm about to go TikTok live as well.
What's up, y'all? Come on in. Good evening. Is that Dr. Dancy Noel?
Dr. Dancy Noel. Hey, Noel too. And I'm the email. I'm gonna be responding to your email very, very like tomorrow, but tomorrow. Mañanas. Yeah, man. Damo, you know what I'm saying right now. Dominique, political plug, is taking his way into a debate. Hopefully, he come out victorious. You know what I'm saying? And he said, huh?
I said he gonna cook in the Solar Vision Debate League.
Oh yeah, he busting ass right now. I imagine he busting ass like he know how to. Ain't nothing to it. Absolutely. Hey man, as well though, man. Shout out to everybody tuned in. We finna get ready to get it started. I'm really mad that I can't figure out how to do our little intro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a political plug job. So we're trying to do our best impersonation tonight.
Yeah, we're trying to do our best impersonation tonight.
And
I feel like it would be under brand or overlay video clips. That one it.
We can hit them countdown style. It's not a debate. It's just two of us. It just happens to be two of us here. We're not debating. It's the Chop Up Show. Welcome this evening if y'all coming in. We just missing the plug, but we are not debating this evening. We're going to have a conversation about the legitimacy of the statements about the whether or not the United States is racist. And we're also going to talk about MOVE. If you don't know about MOVE, we're going to educate you about MOVE, but definitely got to put some spotlight on that organization that's been in the MOVE, more in the news. And then we're also going to talk about mothering, right? Because we got some Mother's Day vibes coming up real quick this week. So we're going to touch on that real quick.
Hey.
But we're going to slide in and out.
Hey, I was curious about some shit. I never loved period, man. Like there was one of the questions that was being asked. I was like, wait, shit. I feel like Toya been ready to pop somebody ass real quick. You feel me?
We can always talk about it.
They real easy ones too. It's like, you think America not racist, or
get down.
You don't know about what these American museums be doing, or
easy money. Shoot, George, that little 30-second countdown was lit though. If you want to use that, Joy, we can go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, man. Hey, we gonna use that. I feel like we gonna do it though, like 10 seconds. So it's gonna be like 30 seconds to 20 seconds. You feel me? We gonna make the whole 30 seconds go. But just to add a little pizzazz, a little ta-da.
A little bit of something.
You feel me?
Me, my guys, we really lie. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny when I drive. In the city, we gon' slide. Bet I be there pronto.
Hey, man. What we know is Where you got a will, there's a way.
Hey, I see you. I see you found something over there pushing buttons. We in this thing with a slid up on you with the intro. Let it bang like we always do because this is the chop up. You know what I'm saying? It's your girl Toya G in here. Happy to chill with y'all. Happy that y'all stuck around with us this evening. We started a little late. We're gonna get in and get out, but you know we had to pull up. And you know who I'm with? Who I got next to me?
Hey man, it's George Lee, aka Conscious Lee. Don't forget the Lee. GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com if you're interested in doing any bookings in terms of workshops, facilitations, as well as I got that merch because education is elevation and research over research. Holla at your boy.
Absolutely. Period. All right. Well, you know, we are excited to be with y'all tonight. And what we're doing with the Snapchat is a favor for you because if you ain't got your mother or your mother figure or your mother adjacent person in your life, something, you need to figure that out. You got till Sunday, right? And we know that everybody doesn't have mothers, so I do want to leave space for that reality and that justification. Not everybody has a good relationship with their mother. Not everybody has, you know, bright and shiny and sparkly things to say about that relationship. Some people's mothers have passed. Some people's mothers, you know, didn't stay in their life the same way some people's fathers do. And so I do want to recognize and acknowledge that reality. But I think just real quick, the reason why I want to talk about Mother's Day, outside of reminding y'all to get y'all's mother figures a gift, is to really talk about how complex mothering is, right? Because I don't know about you, but just outside of mothering, as we get older, we start to understand mothers a little different. We start to see people, and not just as mamas. You know, we see their flaws, we see their, you know, their characteristics and traits that really make them good people. We start to get a little sense of humor from them. But George, you know, you also have an interesting relationship to motherhood in the sense that you are married to a mother, right? You have decided to engage in a lifelong path and a journey with somebody who identifies as a mother. And so that's also kind of unique real quick. So this is for everybody. This is for Lee. First question, y'all know we Negroes, so we got to talk about it. What's your favorite thing about the Black mother? And I think we kind of had this conversation. I think was it the Black grandmother or the Black mother? I don't know, but we kind of had this conversation a while back. But think about Black mothers or Black mothering, right? Even if it's not Black mothers, maybe you grew up around an old Black lady and she made you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside, something like that. What is it that you like, appreciate, love about Black mothering?
Man, I feel like one of that's a simple question, but kind of deep question. Like
it is.
The favorite thing about Black mothering, asking me as a Black man, what I feel like what is
you got a Black mama and a Black wife.
It's a lot to say.
Well, why you think about it? I think my favorite thing about Black mothering, and I think it's Black mothering because I only ever had a Black mama, but it could be probably universally mothering, is, man, your mama just have a way of putting something. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody kind of gets familiar with their mother's pattern of the breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Only your mama got a certain way of saying it. Sometimes only your mama can make it sting a certain way. Sometimes only your mama can make it hit a certain way and really connect a certain way. Sometimes can't nobody, I know, in moments of chaos or frustration, or your mother figure, right? You go to them first because can't nobody make you feel better than them. And I think that's one of my favorite things about the Black mother, and probably about the mother in general, is just, man, I talk about my mom all the time when I give my lectures about leadership, and I talk about initiative, because my mama was the queen of one-liners, man, the queen of one-liners. She used to always say, seeing and doing things without being told. She'd be in a whole other room. I'd be somewhere and she seeing and doing things without being told. I'd be like, I must have left a bowl or something. I must have left some shoes in the middle of the floor. Like she could say it without even saying the whole sentence. And I'm already knowing you need to come without me inviting you to go do what you need to do. You need to whatever. So my mama just had a way, you know what I'm saying, of words to put it together. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Did you come up with something?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. As soon as you started talking, you know what I came up with? I think the most unique thing that I can think about in terms of Black mothering is the unspoken handbook of what to say to your child. It's going to be from coast to coast, whether you're a Generation Xer, Generation Z, or millennial, or you feel me, a boomer. It's like, hey, I'm one of your little friends.
Yeah.
You got McDonald's money?
Yeah.
Do I look like Boo Boo the Fool?
Yeah.
Shit, we got a whole bunch. You smell like outside.
Look, ha hell. If you can hug, you can hear.
Hey,
If I go in there and find it, that's your ass.
if I go in there and find it, that's your
It's
ass.
done. Come on.
What? Like, come
bar.
on, man. Just look. I'm from Bryan, Texas. Toy from Kansas City, Missouri. Everything she just said is shit that I didn't heard my mom and my grandma tell me. And I say the whole and everything I said, I'm pretty sure she didn't heard before. Like she know it. You feel me? And it's just like the unspoken handbook for how somehow everybody that has experienced black mothering in some way, shape, form, or fashion has experienced these universal goddamn sayings. So I say national sayings. Actually, I'm curious, man. I feel like for our international audience, you feel me? The black people, do y'all parents say this shit?
And I've never heard, Kate or Karen or Bridget. I've never heard them use such phrases, such terms. So I know they're unique and particular to our mamas. You know what I'm saying? A couple other people in the comments got to tell
you in grown folks' business
until you pay a bill.
Until when you start paying bills, that's when you can X-Y-Z.
Period.
Hey, Janice, you better stop crying before I give you something to cry about.
They say, let me see. When my mother, Dr. Nancy, said, I've never felt a greater, more unconditional love from a human being. That's real. Pinky Forest says she always got your back. She's TTG. What is TTG?
Train to go.
Train to go. Hey, let's go. Don't mess with Mama Bear's cubs. Let's get it. Tori J, definitely happy teacher appreciation to you too. I know consciously, y'all know him to be a teacher. Y'all know he's the educator. Education is elevation, so on and so forth. Well, that's a family cliche because as the sister, I also agree. I'm also an educator. So shout out to everybody teaching the young people. We do here believe the children are the future. We believe that.
Definitely. Hey, and I'm sorry, Zennia Rose. Listen, man, we on the podcast tonight. So you feel me? I'm trying to get you to come over to the podcast. Shout out to everybody tuning in right now live from TikTok.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
Thank you, James. Simply Morgan said, if I had to come up to that school, listen, if I got to come up there, listen.
Hey, if you knew that, if you knew the damn ABCs like you know that damn song, or if you did schoolwork like you know that damn dance or some shit.
Look. But okay, so we got the stuff that we love about our mothers. I want you to think real quickly, who's your favorite person who's not your mother that just mothered the hell out of you? That really, was your second line of defense, was the second person that really kept you together, kept you motivated. Maybe you couldn't go to your mom at a particular time. Maybe that wasn't it. But who was your second line of defense? Who was your surrogate mother? And y'all two in the comments, who is y'all surrogate mother? Shout them out real quick.
Man, I feel like I had a whole bunch of surrogate mothers. First, I'm gonna name my grandma though. You know what I'm saying? My grandma, shout to mama. You feel me? My mama, you know what I'm saying, was going through different things, trials, tribulations. That was who was doing a lot of mothering to me. Also, shout out to Mama Tracy. You feel me? Mama Tracy, 1900 Magruders. You feel me? Mama Tracy. She I'm talking about. I'm 30, been holding me down. So I was about like 11, 10.
Right on.
Right on. And you know what I'm saying, my auntie, you know what I'm saying, my Aunt Gladys, you feel me? Like, yeah, I got a lot of them. I feel like a lot of surrogate mothers. I feel like the saying that it takes a village. I think that's like really one of the things that like really materialize in the way that I was raised.
Definitely, absolutely. I gotta shout out everybody. Shouting out that Granny. Pinky Forest said it. Trina P said it. George said it. My grandma definitely, Rosa May Carter, rest in peace, definitely held me down, was definitely on the front line of defense. And then my sister, who is up in the comments more often than not. Shout out to Tiffany, man. She's 13 years older than me. So she kind of, you know what I'm saying? By the time I was 13, she was 26 and had a kid. So she was like the cool mom. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like giving me motherly advice, but it was never like motherly enforcement. Like I wasn't nobody gonna get hit. I wasn't gonna get, but she was gonna like say some mama shit that I probably didn't want to hear. You know what I'm saying? So it was a nice little in between, where education, elevation, water bottle, GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com. Make sure y'all get that merchandise real quick. But it was a nice little combination of, good cop, that was,
shout out to Tiff.
That's my dog. Let's see. Elementary librarian. That's what I wanted to get to. Trevon, Noel in the comments say elementary librarian, and it's a lot of teachers. It's a lot of people.
A lot of teachers, man.
And we on Teacher Appreciation Day, so that's really where that connects. Is that it's a lot of people at these schools that's really serving as mothers and parents that we don't appreciate. Cat's Corner says, my mom passed in 2007, but I would love to hear her say any of those phrases again. And it's real. The older I get, the more I see my friends, my peers, people my age start to lose their parents and stuff like that. So it definitely gets real in a lot of ways. Noel got a question for us. Noel says, or not even a question, but a comment. I think what you were talking about, that is a huge strength with the Black family. I think what you were talking about, that is such a huge strength with the Black family. I had aunts and grandparents, but I would never reach out to them if I needed help. If my mom was unavailable, I was figuring it out myself. And that's just definitely, you got an auntie, you got a cousin. So you got a second cousin, you got a third cousin that's really an auntie. I got a cousin named Cousin Brenda, who is not my cousin. Like, just I got a bunch of aunties and uncles as cousins that's old enough to be aunties and uncles, so I kind of understand them as such. And you had somebody to run to and figure out, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to the Black family and Black mothers. The last thing, and I don't want to get too hot and too heavy into this because it's its own dynamic category of itself, but it's a lot of people who have had to mother themselves. And I want to shout out a lot of people who, have had to work on healing themselves, rooting themselves on, piecing themselves back together again when things are falling off. That's a very unique dynamic in and of itself. Like I said, it could be its own story, but the notions of nurturing, right? Some of us have friends that are just real motherly. Like, it's just like the old lady of the group, or, whatever. Appreciate them, love on them, right? The characteristics of the people around us who make us feel better when things hurt, who give us direction, who show us love. Zinnia, you ain't being ignored. Why you feel like that? You great aunt. My bad.
Oh, yeah, my great aunt. Yeah.
People who are out here like Zania Rose is great aunt, right? In your life, right? Those people, hug on them, hold on them. Whether it's a family friend, whether it's a relative, whether it's actually your mama, stop, slow down, show them love. We never ignore nobody. We always showing love here on the Chop Up Show, whether you're in the comments or whether you're somebody's mama or whether you were auntie or something like that. It's big love, and that's what we're trying to share in the snapshot. So shout out to y'all. We love y'all. And if you're a mother in here, happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day. And there's one thing on my heart and mind right now while we on this subject. I know that my wife is always, I feel like, making me very conscious of how a lot of mothers feel like once they become mothers, they lose their identity and they just a mother. You know what I'm saying? So this Mother's Day, when we appreciate mothers, let's try to think about their other identities outside of being a mother. Because I know that a lot of mothers in all races, you feel me, in all cultures, you know what I'm saying, across cultures, I should say, have different feelings, especially when it comes to losing oneself as a way of gaining or giving birth to somebody else. So definitely in this Mother's Day, when you talking about and giving appreciation to your mother, think about the things that they like and do outside of shit for your ass.
Absolutely. That's why, I mean, and this goes to the larger conversations we have all the time. When somebody say that's somebody's mother, that's a person who had aspirations, who had desires, who has things that they like, who had, that's just another human being, another individual. So recognize them for their motherhood, but as George so eloquently put it, the other components of their identities, let them keep a hold of those components too. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all. It's definitely big love to everybody in the comments. Let's go ahead and transition from the mamas to some conscious. It's almost some conscious type business where we just really get into a lot of stuff. Lee, go ahead and bring us in.
Yeah, so hey, into y'all, we got some drops coming up soon where we're gonna be able to slide into these little things where I feel like I might be extra on mine a little bit. We coming up with some ideas right now, man. But we're gonna call this, I feel like we're gonna call this the America Chop. We're gonna call this the America Chop. We know that in the past couple of days, there's been a lot of controversial dialogue coming from political speaking heads, political figures about whether or not, you feel me, America is racist. Mm-hmm. We know that America is not a racist country. It's something that Senator Tim Scott, a Republican, South Carolina, a senator, said. He boldly declared this to President Joe Biden's joint address to Congress, actually this past Wednesday evening. And we know that as a result of him saying America is not a racist country, it made, Kamala Harris and a few other people like Maxine Waters also speak into it. We know that Kamala Harris also said that America is not racist, but believes that America has some racist issues with racism. Just the first question: are we surprised that in 2021, after all of the Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and the countless other names that keep on coming up in justice and legal systems and all that, are we surprised that the conversation that we asking, is America racist, a thing?
The biggest reason that we can't be surprised about, right, is that they have kind of, and this is why was I froze?
Oh yeah, you froze for a minute. You froze for a minute. Yeah, you hear that? You back?
Am I backed up? Okay, I'm backed up. My bad. Is it crazy that people are trying to position us as being a post-racial America? No, right? And I think that's why me and Dominique will have our go around. I want to debate Dominique on representational politics. And I'm going to talk mess about the political plug while he's not here to defend himself, because I want to smoke. This is a challenge, bro. Because this man will sit up and be like, it's important that we elect people and nominate. No, it's not. Because then people are able to look at, irregardless, which I know y'all say it's not a word, but I like saying it, irregardless of the violence that's happening in the street that paints our news feeds and timelines every single day, they can point and enumerate niggas in power that are either sleeping on the clock or they must be okay with it because it's still happening. But y'all are nominating Black people. It's not as racist as it used to be, because looking at all the, this is why Kamala Harris, of course, they got her as a mouthpiece saying this shit ain't racist no more, because there's finally a Black woman who's vice president of the United States. And that's what is so annoying and frustrating to me, is that as long as we keep being satisfied, and I feel one day we're going to have to come back full circle, as this is an aside, and talk about these elections and how, we might be eating some of our words, because these representational politics, man, are something else, because it gives them shit to count and look to when they want to say, look, it's not as racist. We not racist no more. We not. Yeah. It's all a fluke. It's a joke.
Yeah, I feel like in the big picture, it's like most definitely, I'm not surprised. I think that I should be surprised based off of all the racial consciousness that was on the rise this summer in 2020. You feel me? And the biggest, literally the biggest social movement America, has seen with the Black Lives Matter movement. You feel me? In terms of protests and boots on the, on the streets. I think that part and parcel, I see it like the illusion of inclusion. And I find that's what you're getting at. It's like how we're able to subvert symbols to always already, I feel like, be persuaded by the illusion of inclusion. And as long as we can include minority people, Black people, and Asians, indigenous, Native people, Mexican people into different, you feel me, positions of power, we'll always be able to say, because we can include Black people, this means that we are not racist. And I think that's one of the most shallow, racially illiterate ways to be able to scapegoat all the ugly reality that we live in. By being able to say, no, we're not racist.
It's almost like, y'all are taking the approach of speaking it as if it was, speaking those things that are not as though they were, which is a really weird approach, because I get it in terms of faith. That's a very Christian approach to dealing with the very material and socially constructed reality of racism. So I don't know what your wish theory or your faith theory is getting you to be like, there's no racism, and then I guess it disappears. But I think it's more like what Noel said. It's not shocking that people believe it, but I was shocked that people say it so boldly and framed it as PC. It almost felt like an SNL skit, unreal, especially after this past year. And how many times have we lived through SNL skits? I'm talking about, look, Ted Cruz in a state that is mostly affected by Latinx people. It's people at the border. It's a border crisis. It's people freezing to death. It's a natural disaster. This man is on a plane back, to Mexico, right? Like the irony in it is just mind blowing. Y'all remember they bowed down in them kente cloth stoves, and I thought it was an episode of Boondocks. Right? Like, it's just so many things. It's just like, what are y'all talking about? Like the irony of you not letting Latino people into your state, but when you want to place a fortress and fortitude, you go to their country to go hide from the issues that you have been elected to. Like it's just
tag me in. It's like, hold on now. We know that the legal system is one of the most paraded things about America that makes America beautiful.
Yeah.
And literally, you have an entire base that is able to pass a First Step Act trying to mitigate the racial disparities in the justice system. What does it mean for you to say it's not racist? If we have to always already celebrate who won the Civil War and how America was able to have a Civil War, it's like, hey, our country have to have a whole ass war because they use racial justification to put people on a plantation.
My God,
it's not racist.
Lee, by the way, even if they're not racist to people inside their country, remember them shithole countries? You remember them, right? So even if they're not racist to the people inside the country, they for damn sure racist to people around the world, right? Like it's wild. You know what I'm saying? Like Pinky Forrest said it best. It's like saying I'm not racist because I have a black friend. That's literally the excuse that the United States federal government, that the United States infrastructure, that this country socially, politically, and economically is able to play off of. Because there are black billionaires now, because there are black millionaires now, it's not that bad. Because black people are being elected. Look, we let these niggas in. Look, they're over here taking positions of power. It can't be as bad as we said it is. And it's wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Medeiros, it's like saying I have 5 black friends. That means I'm not racist. Simply Morgan, it's definitely racist. I feel them putting biracial people in office as a pacifier. I would like to have a fully black person in office, not someone who claims their race that benefits them at the time. And that is a conversation to be had, because I'm the first person to recognize and celebrate biraciality in the context of people who ascribe to their blackness and identify with that particular component of their identity. I think the one drop rule is a mechanism of white supremacy. So we have to be careful with forcing blackness on people. Right? Like you have to buy into blackness to be black. You can't be mixed with black blood and identify something else. And I'd be like, no, you're black. That doesn't work like that. You both have to identify with the heritage of and the lineage of slavery and of pre-slavery, right? Pre-modernity, pre-transatlantic slave trade. Those have to be things you identify with to have access to blackness. That being said, right, I definitely think there is the ability for people who occupy biraciality at the top rungs of our society to be able to navigate which one, because here we are. We voted for who we voted for because they got the black lady to come out and say they owe the election to black people. They got a black lady to stand next to a white man and say, this is the direction y'all got to go in. And all they needed was enough people to believe it. I mean, you know, and it is kind of what it is now.
A cross-sex question and be like, is America ran by a system?
Yeah.
Systemic racism exists in America.
I mean, which is the clear, obvious question, right? Because we have qualitative racism, right? We feel it. We know
like
we also have quantitative racism, like shit that has been codified into laws and the systems and the structures.
Hey, well, I'm about to say, I feel like you want me to keep the conversation going with another question real fast, or you want to hop in the comment section, because the comment section is going off kind of.
Holler at the comment section. See what they talking about.
Yeah. Hey, Pinky Forrest says, like, saying I'm not racist, but because I have a black friend. We see no name on Google says, I may be cynical, but I think politicians debate the definition of racism and whether or not America is racist. It is, rather than trying to solve the issues that systemic racism has created. Rodney Newton says, having a fully black person in office doesn't matter if they do the same ideology as the racist politicians that's already been there. You got it.
And I agree 1000%, right? Herman Cain, what's the man? Ben Carson. We can pick 1,000 different examples.
Tim Scott.
It doesn't really matter who, if you have the same ideology, the same logics. I will say though, those elements of opting in and opting out are still very real in terms of people's opting in and opting out of their biraciality. But that's true. It is a true statement.
Yeah. Hey, well, this to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to assume that most people in the comment section think that America is racist, and I know you and we know America is racist.
Yeah, I'm not.
So, because my motto was education is elevation. So instead of us just making the claim that America is racist, what is your best example, event, historical, you know what I'm saying, reference to warrant how America is racist? Like, what you think is the best example for how America is racist? I'll go first. You know what I'm saying? I already talked about the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fast forward, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying, 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Like during the Civil Rights Movement, we know that America passed a whole bunch of Civil Rights Act laws where we had to tell the system, the government, that doing racist shit is bad.
Right.
And the government so racist, it still do racist shit.
It still do racist shit.
That's
a pretty obvious representation of racism to me. The one that I would identify as the most obvious demonstration of racism is that one of the most barbaric things you can do to somebody is hang them from a tree. Yet the ability to lynch people is still, I don't think, federally illegal, unless I'm wrong. And even if it is, the law just changed like very recently. And by the way, they still tend to find a lot of Black people hanging from trees, like literally lynched. And I'm talking about as recently as like in the past month. I don't remember the exact name. You know, we've been consumed with Black trauma and Black death, but they still, to this day, are finding Black people hanging from trees. And that is literally just de facto one of the most barbaric ways you could probably decide to kill somebody. I haven't heard about, and by the way, here's the most important part. Because people like to say, oh, you picked a particular way that Black people died or a trauma that Black people experience where other people experience too. When's the last time you heard about white people getting lynched? When's the last time you heard of a white lynching, of a Latinx lynching? And even though, because they were also lynched during their migration up here and also during the early 1900s and stuff like that, particularly also during the Civil Rights Movement. So they were lynched as well. But I haven't heard about that recently. So, you know, crazy, right?
Yeah.
A couple comments, or a bunch of people in the comments giving some examples. The medical field, the police, desegregation, right? The Civil War off top, redlining, great example. Let me see. Nico agreed. While lynching is still not a felony in some states. Jacqueline said, I want to say eugenics. The racist statues being put up during the Civil Rights Movement that people still fighting and getting into it about today. Let's see.
So, and also you can't forget about calling Native Americans savages and saying that he was gonna kill the savage and save the man.
Yeah,
justification, very racist wise, to steal the land.
De facto. Sundown towns, still a very real thing, by the way. I went to college in Kansas. It was some places I dare not go. Still have never been, because you're not finna catch my Black ass when the sun is going up under the horizon. I'm good. I'm gonna go home. Lee, right. You are talking about a lot of real examples of racism that still exist, and I think this is a good segue because we're still talking about America to talk about the MOVE organization. Now, if y'all are not familiar with MOVE, definitely got to do some of your history, because you weren't taught it in your history class. You're gonna have to do the research on this yourself. But most recently, MOVE has gotten back into the news for a lot of the work that they've done. Now, I'll give you some history on MOVE, and then George is going to play a clip to give y'all a little bit more background history. But the MOVE organization was an organization that I don't know if they were founded up in Philadelphia, but their headquarters, and I think they were founded and grew their family up in Philadelphia in the 1970s into the 1980s. The MOVE organization was an offshoot or a development of the frame of mind of the ideologies of people like the Black Panthers. However, they not only connected their Black radicalism and their Black nation building to those tenets, but they also connected to a more natural movement, and a movement that shifted toward more natural living, veganism, and better relationships with living animals and living beings. And so they had a kind of converged philosophy of life in that way. They went by the name the Africa Family, and the Africa Family were just a huge group of people who took up and occupied different homes.
Brown Africa, George Africa.
Exactly, in a whole neighborhood up in Philadelphia. And in the 1980s, 1985 specifically, tragedy struck. Right, they were accused. Of course, they were targeted and followed and heavily surveilled because of their ideological beliefs. But they were eventually, with very little lead time, very little foresight, very little explanations, targeted because of weapons, like possession of weapons.
Because possession of weapons and a disregard of a eviction notice, I think is what they say. I feel like this. I could play about a minute or two of this clip right here, and they'll give a lot of more background.
Anything that the clip doesn't have, I'll fill in a second.
All right.
There is a small war underway on a street in Philadelphia tonight.
There was gunshots, thousands of rounds.
Can you turn it up?
From the
Start it over.
Police moved in with tear gas and water cannon.
There is a small war.
Can you hear it?
Turn it up a little bit, as much as it go.
There is a small war underway on a street in Philadelphia tonight.
There was gunshots, thousands of rounds of bullets from the police.
Police moved in with tear gas and water cannon.
They wanted to kill our children.
I had recommended to use an explosive entry device.
The house shook. Smoke was coming in, so we knew they dropped the bomb on us.
Police allowed the blaze to burn an hour and a half before calling in firefighters.
I don't care what they said. There was no justification for what they did.
They done burned up 2 blocks. Explain that.
I never imagined that the government would drop a bomb on a row house in Philadelphia.
It's an embarrassment to the city of Philadelphia.
My name is Ramona Africa, and I was there when the police dropped a bomb on me and my family May 13th of 1985 and killed 11 of my family members. I was there.
Right. So we got, and that's almost what, 85 to 95, 95 to 05, 05 to 15, 15 to 21. We coming up on 36 years, I think, since that particular bombing, right? So whenever y'all think about domestic terrorism, recognize that these mass shootings we seeing where white people shooting up stuff, this is not new news.
Tip of the iceberg, too. Really, tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. Right. If you want to think about any example, the seminal example of domestic terrorism vis-a-vis the United States federal government, where they bombed their own people, y'all got to go read up on MOVE and that bombing that happened in 1985. Now, to be clear, 11 people were killed in that bombing. Plenty of people were injured, including like Ramona Africa talked about all of them.
And to this day, it's a lot of them that's still locked up as political prisoners. You feel me?
1000%, right? So not only is that part mind-blowing, like a lot of y'all in the comments like, wow, I didn't know, this had me hot, this is crazy, and it absolutely is. But what's really, really grotesque, when you ask the question, is the United States racist? Y'all realize that recently, like in the past week and a half, a professor up at the University of Pennsylvania has come forward saying that in his basement, he had the remains of two bones, I think femurs and various other remains of teenage members of the Africa family. Their remains were supposed to be returned back to the Africa family and were supposed to be
from this bombing
buried properly. But since 1985 to very recently, this professor has had their remains in the basement.
He had him in the classroom with him.
Oh yeah, right. Has been using them over the last few years as props, as examples, as cadavers that people would come in and look at the examples from. So George, tell me this: upon hearing that news, what's your first response? What was your first response hearing that shit?
I feel like my first response in hearing it was America always. I feel like almost is like same shit, different day. Because in my mind, it's like America has never really respected Native American indigenous people remains or they burial sites or none of that. So in my mind, it's like if you don't respect the first inhabitants of this continent, you know what I'm saying, of this country, when it comes to just having respect for their humanity, especially the afterlife, I think it's like shit. I really don't have you. I don't expect you to have much for black people either. You know what I'm saying? And I also see it as just being like one of them contradictions, because I always see it as when a white person dies, especially if they have any ounce of humanity America recognizes, you better have all the respect. You better have all the gall and respect when they when they pass. You better not bring up nothing bad of them. You better, you know what I'm saying, have all the respect for how they are buried and give memorial and you know what I'm saying, all that. But it's like when it comes to black and indigenous people uniquely, I feel like it's just a structure like fuck your life and fuck your death too. You know what? Not only fuck your life, I'm gonna piss on you in death. It's just like what?
In death, like at least in as many horror films as we see in this country, people not fucking with the dead or knowing that zombies and stuff like that is real, you would seem to just, you should be scared at least on that level. Not to mention the disrespect culturally and the way that people are, you know what I'm saying, like their lives and their literal existences and realities are being washed out. Zania, we got you. I got you. You asking if it's a Greenwood or Rosewood. The answer is I don't know. We don't know. George, what's the name of the clip that you watched so that people can go back?
The clip that I watched is called "The Day the Police Dropped a Bomb on Philadelphia." It's a Vice it's a clip from Vice.
Exactly. I don't know.
That wasn't a clip from Greenwood or Rosewood. I know what you're referring to. That was a clip specifically from Philadelphia in 1985. Greenwood and Rosewood, for y'all that don't know, those are also instances of domestic terrorism to black people that was also aided one way or another by taxpayers' dollars and or, when I read it, mean the government. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right. To be clear, Philadelphia police dropped a bomb on the Osage Avenue neighborhood of that particular area. So,
yeah.
You know,
hey, and when you say Osage, it's like when you say is America racist? Something I learned about that blew my mind since I've been on like TikTok. You feel me? I came across learning about the Osage Murders and how in the 1920s, the Osage Nation per capita was like one of the richest, you know what I'm saying, counties, you know what I'm saying, in like one of the richest areas in the world, basically, because they had found a oil reserve in Osage County. This basically is like Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? And basically what happened was, you know, when white people started feeling kind of sorry for what they was doing to Native Americans through racism, I want to, you know what I'm saying, point out, they said, you know what, natives, we're going to give you Oklahoma because we believe this land is worthless and it ain't worth shit. Just so happened they stumbled across some of the biggest oil reserves in North America and made it where the Osage Nation became one of the richest nations, you know what I'm saying, like the richest people in America. White people start pouring into and moving into Osage Nation. And when I tell y'all they systemically and strategically murdered off these families to start making it where they, to this day in 2021, it's a lot of white people to this day that still have the rights and the deeds to these oil reserves that they inherited through murder and death of the Osage Nation. So when you ask the question, is America racist? It's like you have to ignore all of these things that are foundational to the way that America is structured politically, socially, and economically. That you really got to just like, you must have sleep in history class or something. Or because, you know, I know right now I might be dropping shit people don't know, but I think that if you just go to like basic American history classes, you feel me? Like I'm talking about like 5th grade type shit. They don't tell you like this was because of racism, but it's like, hey, you had to civilize the red people. That's racist.
Yeah. De facto. Well, let me see. We got some chit chat in the comments because really, you know, it was an easy debate. It was an in and out operation. It was almost what they kind of say surgical. The way he was able to rip up this dumb question that Tim Scott introduced and that y'all's vice president. I'm starting to make my space from her, Lord.
And being real with you, that was going to be the final question. Really, it's like with everything that has happened with Kamala Harris rewriting herself during the presidential election of 2020 as being a progressive prosecutor. What responsibility or accountability does Vice President Kamala Harris have in denying the racist or the racism that America is in terms of like foundation? Like what are we to do? What is your response? Like how do you feel about Kamala Harris saying America is not racist.
I feel like she should be ashamed of herself because everybody wore what ain't she she an AKA, right? Went to Howard. All of these institutions, all of these organizations that she's been affiliated with, that she's been connected with, that pride themselves on a history and a lineage and a heritage of pushing back against societal norms and making sure Black people had a space in this world. I just think it's wild. If you're willing to really honestly say that those organizations have already met their goals and be like, you tripping. Like HBCUs have met their goals. Like these Black organizations you come from that you like, I just, it's mind blowing to me how convenient she has become, how conveniently Black she's become. And I think it's pretty disgusting. And I think the thing that sucks the most is because politics is how it is. She will never have to speak for it. She'll never have to admit to or answer to it the same way Barack Obama didn't have to admit to it or answer to it. And a lot of his stuff got explained away, right? We go back and forth about that all the time. Just on the last show, we was talking about Barack Obama, but we had to remember that he had a Congress that was messed up and that he couldn't get nothing done. So it's like we always give him a slide. But what's her pass? I'm not giving her one. I'm over that shit.
I feel like political plug, man. When you watch this one, boy, you might as well go and take Toy up on this debate.
Let
me moderate. Because I think there's a lot of symbolism in politics that we have to be critical about.
And I think it's all trash all the time. And where the debate will be is Damo he'll think that it's necessary in some instances, or in certain particular instances, there has to be a space where we have certain representation and people occupying space. And that's what I want to clean this clock at is nigga, no. I'm not buying it. I don't see it. So plug, holler at me. I want you.
Yeah.
I want your lunch, brother. I want your lunch, brother. Ricky agrees with me. I appreciate that agreement, my brother. Thank you so much for pulling into the Chop Up Show this evening. But there's a question, Lee, that no name on Google and that Simply Morgan want us to ask or answer rather, and I want to get into it. As educators, how do you decide what you do and don't teach in class given the limited amount of content you can cover? Simply Morgan says, I want to know that too. Like, can you teach the real history without getting in trouble? What's your take? Because you work with a different demographic of students than I do, but the risks are similar, if not the same. So what you think?
Yeah, I feel like at the high school level, it's a little bit more limiting because the curriculum is so rigid and the curriculum is so structured in a way that you have to get through these certain standards, you have to get through these certain values, you have to get through these certain lesson plans. But how I do it, because I teach like majorly Black and brown students, I usually be in the moment, and I feel like I'm a very improvisational teacher. So if I see my students start looking at me crazy, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start throwing out historical examples that I feel like contextualize what I'm saying, and I'm gonna start really trying to get their attention. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think my superintendent, you feel me, would like what I'm doing? Probably not. Do I care? Not really. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, it's because me, education is elevation. And I think that if I'm, really making it where the lesson plan is hitting my students, I feel like the means and the mechanism of which I go by in terms of contextualizing the lesson plan, I feel like that should be about how I how I lay that pedagogy down to meet my students. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think that when it comes to the college level, though, I feel like to me, for me and my like my educational, like how I like to educate, hey man, that college course gonna give me that academic freedom, man.
You know what I'm saying?
So, let me tell you something about academic freedom and me having a debate background.
Yeah,
I don't think nobody I'm like
that's where I'm gonna chime in, right?
You should chime in. I'm gonna shut up.
This is because George has limitations in terms of curriculum. My limitations, because I teach on the college level primarily, are not necessarily curriculum because I make the curriculum. I just literally make a syllabus and send it to my boss and say, this is what we're doing. As long as it got office hours and all types of little other shit on it, they'd be like, all right, bet. And I get to do what I want. I have to deal with paying customers, right? So that's my limitation and my barrier. Y'all know the parts of California, y'all like, California is so liberal, but y'all see California acting up on the news every now and time, protesting and shit. They live down the street from me, right? So I teach their kids. Everybody you see in Huntington Beach protesting masks and protesting Asians and all types of stuff, they send their kids to where I teach classes.
They cheering.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like in class, I have to be able to navigate a lot of different voices, perspectives. I'm up here teaching Zoom class with Confederate flags and American flags up behind people, behind their backs and stuff like that in classrooms. And so I got to remember that I'm dealing with paying customers who can turn up with my manager, with my boss, if you will. And in a world where university is a system, it's a business, I got to be careful. But I teach debate classes like George is getting at. So the thing about all of this racism shit is you a paying customer, but all you about to do is pay to get your ass beat. Because we can talk verbally, of course, right? Intellectually. Because I teach argumentation classes, and persuasion classes. I teach argumentation and persuasion. So you got to argue and persuade. Not only me, but your colleagues and your peers. And so if you want to be in the marketplace of thought, we can get down. But I'm embarrassed. This is what I do. I argue for a living. And then you got me arguing about something that I'm directly connected with. I know how to separate the emotion, beat you argumentatively, and still make you feel a little bit bad, not because I was being emotional, because I was flexing on you. You know what I'm saying?
Know how you think it's gonna go. All that's what I like about being in the college classroom. Yeah, is that I know I feel like the students are gonna be a little bit different. It's because regardless of their socioeconomic background or their racial makeup, all of them have a particular desire to learn because they paying it. Like they literally paid to learn.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But something I know about young adults is that sometimes, you feel me? I remember myself when I was a young adult, I can get a little pesky and be a little loud, confident, and be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you get a professor like myself or Toya, we got time. And you know what? We be itching sometimes, like, ooh, I want somebody to challenge me to debate because I'm going to get on your ass in the middle of this class right now. And I think that because I teach diversity and inclusion courses, so I always have people, because like this is what I know about the college courses, right? About the college campus across the country, is that particular courses, students are conditioned to see them as being bullshit pushover courses because they feel like the grade gonna be easy. And because I usually teach courses that have diversity and inclusion in the title, I have a lot of particular types of students that will choose the class because they think they finna get them an easy A and not show up, or to show up and don't do nothing, right? What I find is that because my teaching style is the way it is, they might think they're going to show up to the class and not pay attention. You know what? I ain't going to force them to do nothing, but I'm going to get to talking how I talk, and they're going to figure like they're going to want to challenge me, or they're going to feel like they want to debate.
Yeah.
And what they don't know is Professor Lee come to debate every damn day.
Yeah. It's too easy on a college level to say, you know what? Y'all read the rest of that chapter at home. Let's go ahead and do that.
Bring it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. You know, oh man, Toya. You know what? Toya taught me, because when I first walked into debate, y'all, I didn't know a lot about debate at all because I was real novice. I didn't really know a lot. Toya though taught me a lot. One thing she said to me when I was real young was that it's not what you do, is what you justify. And I feel like what I learned how to do is being able to contextualize whatever I'm doing to what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even though I have a lesson plan and a syllabus to keep up, because I can't get caught up trying to debate some random ass student about something and then forget my syllabus.
Yeah.
Ooh, you about to get busted with some education. The syllabus, Toya taught me how to contextualize that mug and make a whole bunch of different arguments, and I hope you're ready. And all the students gonna be highly entertained. As a matter of fact, when the paper come out, I guarantee if I have 25 students, 10 to 15 of the papers is going to figure out a way to bring that one time Professor Lee debated so-and-so.
They make it relevant. The young people do the darndest things. Well, in the comments, Lee, a lot of people saying if you got, a syllabus they can holler at, or, you got to shout out teachers like you, change their life for the better. Shout out to Ashley. Jaleesa even remember Little Debate George before he became the acclaimed scholar.
And that's because Jaleesa gave me one of my first ass whoopers, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? I believe. A shout out to, Kansas State debate. Let me make sure. Kansas State debate. You feel me?
The Wildcats. Well, I mean, listen, no matter what, I hope y'all are down to have the hard conversations. Right. By the way, every now and again, one of the biggest tools, and I'll close the conversation out with this, especially about teaching people the realities of the fact that we ain't out of racism, is recognizing people ain't read the stuff you read, they ain't seen the stuff you seen, not in the conversations you in. So make sure you dropping little gems on them, right? When you drop some of that education on them and you try to give something, I try to just leave niggas with nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to blow your mind or change your life in this one conversation. And that's where I think a lot of people got to relax their shoulders and clench their jaw and realize, I only debate my equals. All others I teach. My only goal, to a certain extent, is not to go back and forth with you. Is to make sure I can just make a little deposit in your reality. I'm sure, and I think I said this last week, I'm sure The Saint Lunatics and Murphy Lee didn't come up with this, but he the one who really, said it and made it pop. I tell you something now, you think twice about it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the only goal, is to make sure I'm putting little stuff on your radar that you can't even appreciate until you let that same thing sit and sizzle a little bit. So that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because there's dummies out here walking around talking about racism ain't real. Racism is we. Race, that's old news. That's past. That's this, that, and the other. Make sure y'all got y'all responses. But you might not knock them out. You can't knock them out with the whole thing. You got to leave them with a couple little gems, little nuggets.
At the end of the day, all we trying to do really is plant a little seed, sow a little seed. You know what I'm saying? It'll be up to you to water it and get it all of the light and nutrition and shit that it needs. But I'm just gonna try to plant a little seed, sow a little seed, just drop a little something, make you think about something a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Be a little thought provoking, make it word really, because I feel like something I learned in debate is about is what we do inside the debate. Is it important? Does it leave the debate? So I always ask myself in the classroom, it's like, what we do inside the classroom, is it important, and does it leave outside the classroom? And I know a lot of times what they come down to is the impacts, you know what I'm saying, both materially and metaphysically. So it's like, well, I'm saying right now, does it matter? Am I saying it to make it with my teacher? Make it with my students really gonna be able to take it and chew on it for the rest of life, or am I telling it to them to teach this test?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's really how I know, you feel me, the you know what I'm saying, the high school, like it ain't really, I don't like it like that, because it's really structured around standardized testing in a way where I don't really get to teach my students how to be critical thinkers, you know what I'm saying, or how to be to me, like, thought producers. I teach them how to regurgitate information and teach them how to, you know what I'm saying, pass a test. And shit, I'm just 30, so I remember passing tests. And it's like, shit, when I learned information to just get a test, just do a test, usually I didn't retain that information, man.
That's real. That's real, because once you applied it, you moved on, you let it back.
Hey, Xenia, is it Xenia? Say 1 for Xenia, 2 for Zanaya. 1 for Xenia, 2 for Zanaya. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say Xenia. If I would have debated Toya when I was debating, when she was debating, I would have got my ass whooped. Like, it's not even, we don't have to speculate about it. Like, Toya gonna be humble probably, is I would have got my ass whooped. Like,
we'd have had something to talk about.
But she would have whooped my ass and I would have enjoyed it. You feel me? But like, it wouldn't have been
just far enough in age to where I missed him. I was just older than him by the time he came in and was cooking enough to actually be able to debate me. I had left like a year before that, and right as soon as I slid out, George Lee caught fire. So that's a bad man right there. Hey, I'm gonna holler at some stuff in the comments real quick. Shout out some people real quick before we bounce up out of here. Kevin, shout out to you. Definitely happy you in this thing. Ricky, it's love. That's my cousin right there. Happy you popped up in here. Nico chiming in. Margot, definitely appreciate you popping in here, commenting real quick. And Nico, too, you can send Jagger to me. We got some stuff to learn, stuff to talk about. I'm gonna send him back to your house on one. So be ready. If you send me a child who know how to debate, I ain't gonna do nothing but make them better. So be ready yourself and be careful what you ask for. Noel in the comments, giving George Lee a nice little blue check, little certification. I can give George a 10 out of 10 as an adult educator. He taught a course in my education and not an easy crowd, and he was phenomenal. So if y'all looking for somebody to make your organization better, thrive, your students, your people better on these issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com. Y'all make sure y'all don't stop. Make sure you do stop over there. We got to answer to the question.
Man, I was wrong all the way. So 1 and 2 is wrong. Zania. It's not Zanaya or Zenia. It's Zania. So I apologize, Zania.
Hey,
thank you for that spelling.
You was never ignored in here. Never ignored in the Chop Nation.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for getting your name wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's not what Mama and them named you.
Hey, believe, I think that's that on that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Miss Ronnie. We're going to keep bringing some information, some content. I'll see you in the comments too. Make sure you tap in with us every Monday so we can hear more from you. We definitely love it. If y'all know what's good for you, you're going to share it, you're going to like it, you're going to love it, you're going to tell more people about it. We had a good conversation tonight. We'll be back next Monday. We're going to have a guest. So y'all stay tuned to the Instagram and to the Twitter.
Oh, yeah. I speak 1906 of TikTok, over 1 million followers, military man. Shout out to everybody in Navy, everybody living in Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a great conversation. We're gonna be talking about social media. We're gonna be talking about social shadow banning. We're gonna be talking about a lot of different things, man. It's gonna be a great conversation. I know it's gonna be the comment section will be jumping, will be live.
Yeah.
Because I know when me and, you know what I'm saying, when me and Anthony, I Speak 1906 get together is usually always, you know what I'm saying, great. A lot of our people come in from TikTok, man. So shout out to everybody on TikTok. Make sure you tune in next Monday, I Speak 1906. It's going down.
Yeah. 7:30. We was a little late tonight because we were having some audio issues. We thought it was George. It was actually me. We fixed it though. 7:30 Central. So I'm sorry, 7:30 Pacific, 9:30 Central is when we try to go live on Monday. It's a little bit late. It's a little bit late, but you know, we be living hectic lives, people, parents, people, educators doing all types of stuff. So y'all tune in with us Monday nights, 7:30 Pacific, 9:30 Central, and we will be on here with y'all. I seen a first timer in here. I got to shout out Zoomy. Let me see. Zumbi.
Shout out to you.
Jumbi. I'm sorry. I missaid that. Jumbi. Shout out to Jumbi Stylist for popping up in here. Khadijah, you know it's always love when you come through. Jacqueline, thank you so much. Dedications for your ears only. Repping the TikTok fam up in this thing. And listen, a Thorough Beauty. What's up? You late?
Thorough Beauty.
You know
hey, shout out to Thorough Beauty. Hey, I was able to go Instagram live.
Okay.
And, you know what I'm saying? Them and they partner hopped on with me and was able to contribute so much to the conversation that a lot of my Instagram followers is really rocking and vibing. Also, too, I feel like I want to bring them on the show. Like them two we need to set that up. I think like Toya, they vibe Toya.
I believe it. They stay tag team in our comments. We might as well bring them on real quick and see what's up. We're going to find a way to make that happen. You know, the summer's coming. And so we're going to be doing all types of stuff to make sure that we keep it funky this summer for the Chop Up Show. So we're going to get y'all in here. Melvin, shout out to you, Tank B. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you tap in with us. It's never too late to come in and show love. So thank you for doing that. Make sure you tap in with us next Monday. It's all good. And shoot. No name on Google. Thank you so much for planning to come back and see us. We can't wait to have you. It was in the comments representing too. So we want to hear
come on back. Hey, come on back and bring a friend. And then when you bring that friend, text time to them. They tell that friend to bring a friend to bring a friend. That's what he's trying to do.
Hey, George say it all the time. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's love to Kevin. It's love to all of y'all. Jimby, not even from the US.
Not even from
y'all keep blowing up our downloads. Keep sharing the downloads. 10%, 90% of our listeners is in the United States. 10% of the people who listen to the show don't even live in this country.
Don't even live in the country. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to all the international, all the listeners that's not in the States. We really appreciate the support. We really appreciate the engagement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, Toya, what is our email again? If you're an international person that listens and you want us to talk about a specific topic or specific instance or event that happened in your respective country, shoot us an email.
Yeah, let's talk.
You know what I'm saying? Holla us on IG, the Chop Up Show on IG. You feel me? Hop in the DMs. You know what I'm saying? Whether you go to the to the request or you go to the general, we're gonna find it. You know what I'm saying? We definitely want to also always make it where our content, what we talk about on the podcast, is engaging and is able to, I feel like, have what he talks about in terms of thinking globally and acting locally. You know what I'm saying? So definitely want to appreciate all our international listeners.
Shout out to MT represent the 818. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what the 818 is, but shout out to you for popping in here. I'm from the 816.
Familiar though.
Originally, so, it's love. Noel, we do need to do a Q&A episode, so we got to make sure we get down with that. That's big facts. And shoot.
Hey, Noel, I'm literally about to go in here and holler at my wife, and we're gonna talk about, you know what I'm saying, this Rado trip. When I say Rado, I know you know what I'm talking about. I try to speaking different ways when you on this you felt for me virtually, because you know people be weird and things. Definitely. But yeah, man, tell you any last thing. If not, I'm gonna play out. You know what I'm saying? I out and we out.
Okay, so that's up in northern LA, like up in Thousand Oaks area. Nico said that's up there. That's up there by the homie. So love. Either way it goes, thank you. It's another Monday night in and out. First Monday of the month. Keep pushing, y'all. Hope y'all paid y'all bills. Hope y'all paid y'all rent. Hopefully, if y'all struggling with that, y'all piece it together. In the meantime, in between time, keep fighting, keep pushing, keep lifting. Better days. But make sure you recognize today was also a good day. We out this thing.
And lastly, again, to all my last minute people, Mother's Day on Sunday.
Don't get caught slipping.
Slippers count.
Yeah.
Mother's Day is Sunday. You've been warned.
Me, my guys, we really live. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny when I drive. In the city, we gon' slide. Bet I be there pronto.